DCMikeTV.com. I'm right here with the undefeated super middleweight from Baltimore, Maryland, Tyrell Boyd. Tyrell, nice to finally meet you, brother. How are you?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Can't complain. Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for your time.
No doubt, no doubt. You guys hear the Baltimore accent. Yeah, yeah. I know you're I appreciate your manager and your promoter for helping them connect me with you. I've been knowing them two guys for years. You know what I'm saying? Cool guys. You have a big day coming up on October 17th, but before we get to that, I don't know much about your amateur background and you getting into the boxing. Can you tell the fans that may or may not know who you are, where you know what I'm saying, your weight class, where you come from and how you got into boxing?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, my amateur background, I was still in high school when I started until like 16, 17. I had about, 37 fights altogether, 34 and 3. I got into it because my homeboy, his nickname was Firecracker. He had boxed at Upton at the time. He had got me into it because we had ROTC together. And he used to bring the gloves all the time, show me stuff, beat me up a little bit, and he was like, "Bro, just come down to the gym for real, check it out." So we caught the bus. Back then it was an NTA. We caught the 52 to Mondawmin, took the subway to Upton, and I started going with him. And then I kind of just got attached to it at that point. Decided to commit to it, with some good people in there. Coach Matt, Riri, all them good folks. And just watching all of them, see how committed they are to the grind, but also to see how much I really love the sport, kind of made me like it even more. And then I started competing and things of that nature, man. I just, like I said, I just stayed committed at that point.
Mm. And what age was this?
I think I was, 16, I think, when I started.
Okay.
I was like,
Okay.
yeah.
A little bit of a late bloomer, a little bit.
Yeah, I honestly, a part of me was thinking, like, I started too late. A lot of people, especially like a lot of the good fighters, they've been boxing since they was little. So they already had, 10 years experience coming in, especially start doing tournaments and stuff like that. It's like, you got to compete with dudes that's already been in it for 10 years, but I ain't let that psych me out too much. I was like, divine timing is how I look at it. And if I kept that mindset, I wouldn't be where I am now for real. So it all worked out.
All right. And any sports growing up? Any basketball, football?
Yeah. I always like football. I thought I used to fantasize I was going to the NFL. But no, when I was living in Texas, I lived in Baltimore, moved to Texas, came back to Baltimore. When I was in Texas, I did all the sports. I did track, football, basketball, everything. And then when I came back to Baltimore, it was just strictly just football. I did karate a little bit, as all around elementary school. And then, like I said, I started boxing. I kind of just took to it. I like the fact that it, it's a team sport when you look at it from the business side of things, but from the physicality, from like actually competing against another person, it's an individual sport. You ain't got to rely on 4 other dudes on the court or 10 other guys on the line of scrimmage to determine the fact if you're going to win or not. Like, it's really all on you. You got to be accountable to yourself. You got to train right. Eat the right stuff. Work on your mental as well as your physical and your spiritual. All these things you got to be accountable for. To have success. In fighting, and that's all combat sports, not just boxing.
Right. What tournaments have you competed in growing up?
Just the Golden Gloves, man. Golden Gloves are the only ones able to do it at the time. Cause like I said, when I started boxing my senior year of high school. I got a late birthday. When I graduated, I went right to the military. So a lot of the tournaments I couldn't really take part in, because again, I'm in the service. So it was like it's hard to divide my time up and fully commit into boxing like I wanted to. But whenever I had the opportunity to go on the show, I took it. There was one point where I was active. I was fighting like twice a month. Coach Matt had me fighting. Like I think it was like 2016, 2015, I think.
Right.
Coach Matt just had me fighting like literally twice a month, like just non-stop. Because he's like, you want to turn pro, you need to go ahead and get your numbers up. Like, I'm not turning you pro with only, 10 amateur fights. It don't make sense.
Right.
So we just started racking that joint up, got me up to 37 fights or so.
Okay.
And I made the transition to pro when I turned, how old was I? I want to say when I turned, 26, I made the transition to turn pro. You know, and I was
Okay.
able to, you know, I had my grown man strength. You know, I had my little bit of experience. You know, I acquired not a really a fan base, but I was able to acquire, you know, some support to where I could generate ticket sales. You know, to where I could, you know, somewhat, you know, fund my expenses for working out.
Right. All right. All right. All right. And what's the age now? You 27?
29 now. 29.
Okay.
29. So I started amateur at 16, turned pro at 26, and now I've been maintaining. You know, I'm 29 now, so I've been in the game for about 3.5 years, going on 4 years. So
Okay. You like the pace that you're at right now?
I love to pay some. I'm extremely active. You know, I'm blessed to have the manager I have now, and I'm blessed to have the coach I have now. I feel like I'm extremely active. I mean, I've been pro for 3 years, and I'm at 12 fights now. I got 2 more fights before the year is up. So so I'm averaging 3-4 fights a year. That's just it's pretty
Yeah.
good. You know, I'd rather be extremely active early in my career because when I get on the back end of my career, I get older, I'm not gonna be as active. You know, and then
Right.
you start racking the numbers up too. You know, you start taking longer gaps between them fights because wear and tear on your body from the rounds, but also it's just hard to get fights when you start racking numbers up. You know, it's a lot
Right.
easier to get a fight at 12-0 than it is to get a fight at 30-0.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
people don't want it's just what's the word? The risk is not as high when you fight somebody with a smaller record and a higher record.
Right.
So definitely want to be active early, and if things tend to slow down on the back end, and that's fine. I mean, that just come with the game.
Right. Right. For sure. For sure. For sure. All right. So for those who don't know, Terrell Boardhead will be headlining a card on Saturday, October 17th.
It's a Thursday.
It's a private. I'm sorry.
It's on Thursday. It's
Excuse
on
me.
Thursday. Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's
Thursday, October
definitely
17th. My bad. Thursday, October 17th. He'll be fighting on this private event, alarm.com. I believe he fought in that event before in the past, correct?
yeah, I fought the dude. His name was Daniel Terry. He was 11-3. I want to say he from South Carolina. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
That's the last time I fought there last October. It was definitely a good show, good
Yep.
experience. It was different, it was just different energy, different type of crowd, different people. So definitely enjoyed it for real. Definitely did.
Yep. So Terrell Board is very familiar with the private event that's going on Thursday, October 17th. I believe you'll be taking on your toughest opponent to date, RAVSHAN HUDAYNAZAROV. He's from Uzbekistan.
Mm-hmm.
Your best opponent to date. You're a couple, I think 2 or 3 weeks out. What do you think of him, and how you see the fight playing out?
Um, I think of him as a veteran. I think of him as someone that knows how to fight, that's been, involved in the game a little bit. I look at him not just as a stepping stone, but someone that can help build me as a fighter. Um, I like I said, I like the pace I'm at. Who I'm fighting. The type of fights I'm taking, the levels that.
You cut out. Okay.
Yeah, it helps me. It helps instill confidence in me as I grow as a fighter because I know I'm taking the right fights. I know I'm taking the fights that's going to help boost my IQ, that boosts my experience, that boosts my skill set. And this is that fight. Even the fight I had with the dude, Sonny Duverson, who was 11-5 at the time. He'd been on the big stage and he could fight. So and that was like today my toughest fight was with him. So, and I'm glad I had that experience because now when I walk into this fight with someone that's on an even higher level, on paper anyway, I don't know until I get in there.
Right.
I have confidence because I've been battle tested. I've been battle tested as an amateur. I've inspired everybody. I done fought, worked with everybody. So, I look at him. I don't look past him, but I look at him as someone that just gotta take out so I can grow my career. I mean, that's what it is.
You said someone you got to take out.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that's in the room, I gotta take them out. I mean, I mean, just keep it a band. Like, what time it is when you fight somebody. You're not fighting somebody it's not like a general sport. We're not in there just playing around, pillow fighting. We trying to take each other out. Like, that's just what it is. Just call it what it is. We fighting.
Right. Obviously boxing is about, it's a sport and at the same time it's a business.
Mhm.
How do you feel about, talking a little trash to sell tickets? Or how do you feel about having to talk trash to sell tickets as opposed to being quiet and,
How I feel about it, I get it. You know, I get it. You know, you have to be able to entertainer. You have to do certain things to sell a fight, and there may be certain requirements a promoter may want. You know, they want to build certain things. You know, I get it. Internally, how I feel, I mean, that's not really me. I'm not the kind of person that I feel like I have to tear somebody down to boost my ego. You know, that's never been me. But again, like I said, I understand it. But I wouldn't knock nobody for doing it because, again, like I said, it's a business. And if you're someone that only thing they got going for themselves is boxing, that's how they pay their bills, just how they make money, what have you. I mean, you're gonna do what you gotta do. I mean, you're gonna have to talk a little shit. Excuse my language, talk a little trash. You're gonna have to do what you gotta do to sell them tickets. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Would I do it? Maybe. I don't know. Depends on the situation. But as far as my character, like that's not really me. I'm not gonna bend my back backwards to try to tear somebody down and destruct my ego because I already know what it is.
Right. For sure, for sure. You know, a lot of good fighters come out of Baltimore, Maryland, you know, such as yourself, up and coming, Javante Davis, Lorenzo Simpson. Um, you guys have a lot of good fighters come out of Baltimore, and also a lot of, you know, good fighters, you know, come from Uzbekistan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how big is this fight on Thursday, October 17th? Not just for Washington, D.C., but how big is it in your mind throughout the entire world? Because this is a chance for you to possibly, you know, if you defeat RAVSHAN, HUDAYNAZAROV, you can pick up some fans from Uzbekistan. How do you feel about how big this fight is?
I feel good, man. I feel like every fight is an opportunity for me to grow, you know, fan base, to grow as far as IQ, to grow on the business side. So I think it's very important. I mean, it sounds very generic to say, but I mean, I treat all the fights the same, even though I know they aren't the same. I treat them the same, you know. It's kind of like how can you, how can you produce a fan base if your mindset every fight isn't like I got to do better, I got to attract more fans. So I say this fight is very important because, like I said, it's also a step up fight. It's also a tougher challenge, you know. It's a new level. So and then on top of it opens up opportunities for me to take harder fights on a higher level because I'm continuing to win. So it's definitely important for sure.
Mm-hmm. I know pretty much most of your fights have been here in the DMV, correct?
Yeah, correct. I had a couple. I think I had two fights in West Virginia. I think I had like three fights in Virginia. I had one in Washington, D.C. It's probably my second time in Washington. No, wait, a lot. I had two Washington, D.C. It's my third fight in Washington, D.C. And then I think the other half they were in Baltimore. So slowly
All right.
getting around a little more, but like I said, divine timing. I'm gonna keep building myself up, and when I get the call for the next level, I know at least internally, I took the right steps and I'm more prepared.
All right. Are you signed with any promoter at this particular point?
No, I'm signed promoter. I'm signed with my manager James Hogan, who actually runs Queens South Promotions. But now it's just my manager, you know, my head coach Mac Allison, and you know, I have my own little team, you know, that I work with. For photography and things like that. I work with, you know, some of my homeboys, homegirls that have clothing brands, sponsors, you know, Mecca Luxury, Clearvon, Rebel Gang, all those guys. So I'm acquiring my own little team. And like I said, once I'm find myself marketable and, you know, the big league, they find me marketable, I'm sure they'll be calling at some point.
What makes you different? What makes your brand? What makes you stand out from any other fighter?
Um, I guess what could make me different, and I said this is just my perspective, is just my genuinism. I'm who I am. You know, I'm very authentic. I'm not trying to fit a certain type of group. I'm not trying to appease a certain type of fan base. You know, I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not the sum of my soul type of person. I'm not an ego-driven person. You know, but again, I said I may not be the only fighter like that, or maybe other fighters are the opposite of that. But I think what could separate me from everybody else is just I'm just me. You know, I'm me 24/7. I just keep it real, and you know, I show up to put in work. I show up as, you know, as myself.
A win over RAVSHAN or HUDAYNAZAROV, what does that do for you in your career if you get a win over him?
It boosts my confidence for one. It makes me more marketable. I'll look a lot better on paper because when you put me on box rec, you'll see who I fought. You know, you'll see how I won. You know, or how I lost. You know, where I'm from, things like that. You see the rankings and things like that. So It would definitely make me more marketable, for sure. When you start looking at things on the business side, on the mental side, you know, it definitely boosted my confidence even more, knowing like I said, I'm stepping in the ring with tougher dudes, you know, tougher opponents, tougher opposition. So whenever I do step in the ring again with another tough dude, you know, it's like I've been here before. You know, there's no, I don't feel fake. You know, I don't feel like that I don't belong here. You know, I know I belong here. I know I'm really am who I think I am, or who I know I am.
Right. Obviously, your fans and family won't be able to be in attendance. What are your family and fans reading Friday morning? What does the headline say?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
I said on Friday, October 18th. What are your family and friends? What do they read the next morning after the fight? What does the headline say?
Oh my God, he did it again. Oh my God, he knocked somebody out again. It's like no. I think everybody's gonna be just good energy, man. Like it's gonna be good energy. You know, everyone's gonna be happy. They're gonna be proud for sure. You know, it's gonna be a couple phone calls, a couple text messages. I'm sure people are gonna reach out on social media saying, you know, good job, good work, things like that. Um, you know, just because people can't physically be in attendance doesn't mean they're not checking in or they're not watching or making sure. I think people are always watching. You know, there's always somebody watching you, even if they're not like physically at the match. You know, even if it's from afar. You know, people are watching for sure. So I think it's gonna be. Oh, actually, I know it's gonna be good energy. You know, for sure on the following day.
All right. One more last one. Any message to the fans in Uzbekistan, and any message to your opponent for Thursday, October 17th?
Nah, man, I don't really got a message for him. You know, I just show up ready to fight. Like I said, I'm not trash talk type person. I'm not an ego driven person. Like I said, I'm very, very subtle and humble. I'm gonna say him when I say him, and I'm coming to fight him. I'm coming to win. That's just what it's gonna be. Hey, baby.
All right. You guys heard it first from undefeated super middleweight TYRELL Boyd from Baltimore, Maryland. TYRELL, nice to finally meet you, and good luck Thursday, October 17th.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Thanks.